it's the question really within contractors, can you build your brand? Can you build value online through your social media, through any interaction, but it's going to be virtual rather than relying on kind of your one trick, which is sending a salesperson into a living room. And so that's where a lot of these pieces that I'm seeing emerge within the roofing space, we're starting to converge and helping contractors to be ready for this new evolution that's really on the horizon and coming quickly.
All right, so if you're in the roofing industry, there's a really good chance you've heard of Roofle. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you're using it, maybe you have no idea what it is. Wherever you are, whatever familiarity and context you have, this episode is going to help you because I'm here with Travis and Mike from Roofle, and we're going to dig into why this is such a revolutionary new company and tool and how it's helping contractors create more consistent and predictable sales opportunities and grow with more confidence. So I'm pumped to have my buddies Travis and Mike here. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Jeff? How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So transparency, there's three of us here, not really used to this. So we'll just have fun and just jump in whenever. I don't know, which of you two guys is going to answer any questions that I have, but you guys can just kind of tag team it. But yeah, I've gotten to know these guys over the past few months, as many people in the roofing industry have. And I've walked through their product, gotten the demo, and I know several companies that are using it and having a lot of success with it. So this is not like a paid promotion or anything like that. Like I have people on this show because I truly believe that these guys have a tool and have a company and have a system that is really beneficial to pretty much any roofing contractor out there. So guys, before we get into, why this is such a game-changing tool, you want to start off with a history of Roofle and, how it got here?
Yeah, of course. So if we go back, about 3 years ago now, maybe 3.5 years ago, we looked at kind of the evolution of the roofing industry, and we looked at it and we said, okay, well, let's look at CRMs, for example, right? We used to have paper files and, used to slide them like on the little plastic slots as far as production and, all those different things. And you had paper contracts and, now everything's CRMs, right? Everything is digital, e-contracts and everything is, going to the digital route or to the technology route. And there's just many different things that we looked at, as far as the evolution of the roofing industry. And we said, well, what about, the in-person sale? What about that part? Can e-commerce actually come to the roofing space? And can customers actually get a price, online? It's one of the only industries out there to where a consumer can't just go online and find some sort of price as far as what this is going to cost to do. And the biggest thing in the roofing industry, and everyone probably knows, is that over the last 5 years, the prices have probably doubled. I know, being in the industry now for 11 years, that I remember when roofing was like $250 a square. I mean, now people are at like $700. So the prices are kind of they just keep going up, and we know that they're never going to come back down. So the consumer who maybe did a roof 5 years ago, 10 years ago, have no idea what that cost is now. You kind of compare that to cars, where people have some sort of idea as far as what a car costs, and they have resources online to figure out exactly what that car is going to cost and what model, style, whatever. They can go there. Where with the roofing industry, they got nothing. So we were looking at it and we said, okay, so how can we basically revolutionize the roofing industry and say, how can we change this to basically say the consumers are ready for e-commerce? So we sat down and we went through different things and we whiteboarded and we basically said, this is it. We have it figured out. Let's launch this. So that's where Roofle came into play. And so Roofle came into play because we wanted to prove the concept that the consumers are ready to buy their roofs online. So we built the technology out. We built all the different pieces that were required for the homeowner to feel comfortable to be able to go online and actually buy their roof. So there's many different pieces to that, from the quick estimate to their final quote to visualizers and customer portals and things like that we built out to say, the consumer can clearly see that here's what they're going to get when they buy from this company. And we had to be very transparent with our pricing. We had to be very transparent with how the production is going to go and the process is going to go. So they felt very, very comfortable with being able to buy online. So after all those pieces were built out, we started selling roofs. I think we launched, it was actually 2020, coincidence, during COVID, when we actually launched. I think it was July 1st of 2020 is when we actually launched our website. And we went live and we started selling roofs online all over the country. And again, we had no physical offices. We had no people on the ground. We were 100% remote, and we just had a website that people would go to and they would be able to get their price, pick their products, and be able to get their final price and buy online. So we did that for about, 2 years and got to about $4 million in sales. And we were basically like, okay, with a brand new company, brand new startup, no reputation, consumers are willing to go online and buy their roof. And the funny thing is that like 70% of our sales came between 9 and midnight. And so there was a thing with that as far as like showing that the consumer is so busy right now because, back in the 80s and 90s, like most times it was one person working. Now it's both of, the husband and wife working. And, so they're super busy. So when they're able to sit down and actually be able to buy something, they have the convenience of being able to go there and buy this product online. They can sit on the couch, buy it, on their convenience, compared to having somebody come into their house for 2 hours and pitch them on a product that late at night. They had their own convenience. So had the concept out there, we basically, proved that the consumer was hungry for this. And that's what Roofle was all about. We were a contractor. We did sell direct to consumer all over the country. And that's what we did. So then it was about April of this year. And April of this year, we had contractors coming to us and we're like, wow, we need this technology. We want this technology. This is amazing. Like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. How can we get it? And so we sat down then and we said, okay, how can we essentially white label this or get this in the hands of of all the contractors so that they can offer this service to all the homeowners as well? So we put it in development and we actually launched September 1st is when we actually launched like our first like beta, if you want to say, and actually installed it on the contractors' websites. And so that's what we call Roof Quote Pro. So you have Roofle, which was the company that was selling directly to homeowners, but we released the product that's now called Roof Quote Pro. And we no longer sell directly to homeowners anymore. As of October 1st, we actually quit selling directly to homeowners and really are focused on our core product, which is Roof Quote Pro, due to the demand that we've had from contractors all over the country saying, hey, I really want this technology. So we've been really focused on, sharpening, everything within our technology, making the platform very nice and easy to use. And then also educating our contractors on how to be able to use it, I think has been a big piece too, teaching them about like how to market it, how to put it on their site, all those different things as far as for them to be successful. So that's kind of the evolution of, the roofing industry of Roofle, as far as starting from one point and kind of where we are now. And some people get kind of confused as far as like Roofle, Roof Quote Pro, what's going on there. And that's what we're trying to clarify as far as, what it was to what it actually is now.
Okay. You know your product. Well, my question would be, I did not realize that Roofle went direct to consumer at some point. Now you no longer are. So my question would be like, couldn't you just get rid of the name Roof Quote Pro and just call it Roofle since you're, only selling to contractors? We
could, but we have things in the works to release other products as well. So kind of like, there's not only going to be Roof Quote Pro, there's other things that we're working on that will also be estimating software similar to what we have, but it will be in other industries and other things like that. So essentially Roofle will always be like the company, but then we'll have, products that we offer as well.
All right, cool. Got it. Long-term vision. Love it. All right. And now, so that all makes sense. So what exactly is the tool? It's like a plugin that goes on your website, or like, how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a widget that we actually plug into the website or install onto your website is what it is. We have two different versions. We have the widget, which lives, on your website. It's like a slide out. And then we also have the embedded version. And that's the one we've seen our contractors have the most success with, is the embedded version. They create these really good landing pages, within their site. And so they're driving traffic, through, social media or Google or whatever it may be, working with their marketing companies. And they're basically creating these specific landing pages to help with conversions. Well, this tool is designed to help with conversions, and we're giving the consumer something that they want, which is some sort of price. So our conversion numbers have been, pretty good from talking to our existing clients and kind of going through their numbers. We have some pretty cool stories that we've heard, recently about it. But yeah, so essentially that's what it is. It's a tool that actually lives on your website. So the traffic actually stays on your website. You're not pushing your traffic anywhere else. Your traffic is actually staying right on your website. So I think that's kind of a big key piece that we do is we allow you to kind of keep those analytics attached with your website so they're not bouncing somewhere else. So that's one of the big features that we wanted to do is keep the consumer shopping on your website, keep your consumer interested on your website rather than have them go, to another website and bounce somewhere else. And then what are the odds that they find their way back to their website after they've already seen that price? So that's really the core piece that we wanted to focus us around was, building it and embedding it, on all contractors' websites.
Yeah, that's so important, man. There's so many. I'm sure you guys have seen it too. Like you go to a roofer's website and there's a financing tab, and then you click the financing and it takes you away from their website into the finance company. And it's like, well, you're taking people away from your website. Like it doesn't make sense. So I like that you're doing that. Now just playing devil's advocate, like there might be some, people that are skeptical out there, roofing companies that are skeptical. Like, are they actually like putting their credit card in on a landing page to purchase a roof? Like, how does that all work?
So we're not doing that quite yet. We're not going to that step. There's a couple of things that I'll probably have to do to get to there. What we are doing is allowing contractors to get into that space where, again, homeowners are really demanding this experience to purchase or to at least be able to find out, get information, look for brands, colors, what the options are, and to be able to get at least an idea, working knowledge of what's going to be. Now, the estimate that's generated by Roof Quote Pro, we want it to be really close. I mean, we don't want it to be a throw something against a wall and see if it sticks. We want it to be close, but there are going to be some things that are going to be probably impossible to ever do online, like second layer. Or decking, or some of the code compliance issues that a typical roofing project might run into. But a lot of those things are not known even when you are meeting with a homeowner and doing it, the personal visit stuff. So we're trying to address as much as we possibly can, but to put that ability for the homeowner to do all that investigation online rather than being faced with a situation where they have to space out 2 hours out of their afternoon, evening, or weekend to have somebody come out and get into their living room, because we're just seeing homeowners are not willing to do that anymore like they used to.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
I think the biggest piece with that, and just like you had asked about buying online, I think the biggest thing that the biggest hurdle that we have to overcome as contractors is being able to be transparent with our pricing. I think that's kind of the biggest thing, because I use this example a lot when I'm out there speaking and talking to people about this product. Is you as a company or a roofing company could send 3 different sales reps, to a house, same homeowner, same product. And what are the odds that they get 3 different prices? And, how does that even happen? As a company, I think this is the hardest piece, is getting them to be able to be transparent with their pricing, or actually knowing what their pricing is or knowing what their numbers are, so that they can be able to sell online. So this is kind of the first piece that we released. I think if we released all the pieces, people will be like, whoa, this is just way too much. It's way too much to handle. And they just get overwhelmed with all the pieces. So we released this piece first, and then slowly, over the next year or so, we released the other pieces to where that, contractors that want to, they are able to have the capabilities to be able to, buy their roofs right there online. So there's kind of a couple different steps that we have to go through for the contractor to actually be ready to be able to do this, because this is a big step. This is a big piece in the roofing industry for, e-commerce to come to the space. So the contractors have to be ready, the homeowners have to be ready. And I think with time, as the contractors are able to figure out, what their pricing is, be more transparent, we can definitely get down that road to e-commerce.
All right. That makes sense. I like that. You got to, this is the roofing industry. You can't throw a whole, too much at the industry at once. And yeah, man. So the point about transparency is so frustrating when, you go online to a contractor's website and they're like, well, how much does a kitchen remodel cost? Or how much does a roof cost? And in their blog post or their article on their website, they never actually answer it. They give you the factors. And as a consumer, you want to know, right? Or you see a YouTube video or a Facebook video and you're looking for the answer, but you feel kind of misled, or you just feel let down because they're not giving you at least a range, right? And that's so frustrating. So I love the transparency there. My natural comparison, because that's just how humans work, is we want to compare it to something else, is buying a car, right? It's I don't want to go to the car dealer and show up on a Saturday morning and be like, hey, Travis, I'm looking for a car. No, I'm going to show up and be like, hey, I want a 2022 Jeep Wrangler. I want this. I want 4-door. I want that. Like, I've done my research. I know the range. I know it's about 45 grand. What do you have? If I'm even going to the dealership, right? I might even buy it online. Like, I actually did that last year. So that makes a ton of sense. We want that control. And yeah, we don't have time. I mean, we're all busy with businesses and kids and sports and travel and just life in general. That makes so much sense. I think that's one of the biggest things about maybe like home improvement is like, I don't have time to get, 3 different estimates, to carve out time in my schedule, even if the contractors do show up on time, which I know they're not going to. So then it just throws a wrench in your whole day. So yeah, I love the transparency of that.
I'd like to add to that just a little bit too, is there's an urgency for contractors to start looking at this space, mostly because going back to your car dealership model, who didn't you shop? It's people who had no presence online, who had no inventory, who had no pricing. You're going to have customers that are just going to pass over you and go to somebody who does. And so there is an urgency, I think, within this industry to move to this model. And the urgency was being filled by corporations much larger than any of us, right? And that's one of the things that I appreciated coming on board with Roofle is saying, we are going to give this capabilities to anybody who wants it, rather than being the victim of somewhat of a hostile takeover from, pockets that are much deeper than ours that are already entering into the space and are going to start squeezing contractors out or turning contractors into labor houses, where they're getting all the leads, they're doing all of the online generation of jobs. And then just the best thing you can hope for is to start doing subcontractor work for those. Now that's a worst case scenario, but I think it's something that's on the horizon that there is an urgency to take a look at this space and find a fit for it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. If anyone's read the book Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, like he talks about that as being the philosophical problem. It's like, roofing contractors should not have to relegate themselves to being, subcontracted out by, Angie or Home Advisor or Home Depot or, Amazon Roofing, whatever it might be, So I like that. It's, putting those tools that would otherwise be completely inaccessible to a roofing contractor now is, a matter of getting set up in a few hours, right? Like, it's pretty simple.
Yeah. So the next step is, and I followed your content quite a bit, and it seems to hit home more and more because I'm looking at this much more closely every day. It's the question really within contractors: can you build your brand? Can you build value online through your social media, through any interaction, but it's going to be virtual, rather than relying on kind of your one trick, which is sending a salesperson into a living room. And so that's where a lot of these pieces that I'm seeing emerge within the roofing space, we're starting to converge and helping contractors to be ready for this new evolution that's really on the horizon and coming quickly.
Yeah, we talk about evolution. It's really it's the consumers, it's the customers that we're having coming up, right? We look at them as like millennials, right? The people that don't want to interact with humans, they want to interact with phones and other things like that, right? So we see it coming. Anyone who has kids, and they know that they really don't like to interact with humans, and so the consumer wants to be in control. They want to do their own research. They want to be 100% in control. They want convenience. Like, I'm sure you don't know anybody now who doesn't use DoorDash or, Instacart or whatever it is because it's convenient for them. They just want to just do that and not have to go to the store. But we're not saying that the in-person sale will go away. Like, there's always going to be that customer, that consumer that does want that in-person, which I know people who still go to the mall. I know people who still go to the store. Like, they prefer to do that because it's part of their routine or whatever. But we're saying that there's going to be a big amount of people coming up that don't want to interact with humans and they want to go this route. And that's kind of a big piece too, that those consumers are going to want to look at your website. They're going to want to know what they're buying. They're going to want to know what the process is. So that's what we talk about too with our contractors is, hey, on your website, you have to be able to show what your brand means. Like, what does your brand represent? So when somebody comes to your website, like, what does that brand mean? Do you donate back to the community? Are you an NFL sponsor or whatever you may be? You got to be able to show what your brand represents. And then you also have to be able to show them like what the process is going to be. Like, what is the experience going to be like after I buy buy from you. And so once I buy, what is the process? You got 10 steps, 8 steps, whatever it is. They want to be able to know what is to come, down the road. So those are kind of the biggest pieces as far as, within a brand, you have to be able to show those things online, because you may not have the opportunity to be, in the house to show them that, because they're just going to be browsing online. And then you never know what traffic you never got. Because if you don't have technology like this, that person could have came and left and been gone. But if you have something that the consumer really, really wants, which is some sort of price or transparency, then you're going to get their name and information because you gave them something that they wanted. So now you do have that lead compared to someone who's just leaving your site because you didn't give them any information that they wanted. Such as you're talking about with the blogs. You go there, you look at the blogs, they talk about, there's a big range. It's between 20 and 80,000. You're like, okay, great. Sounds good. But if you're giving them some sort of price that's relatively really close, then you give them something they wanted, and they're more likely to go ahead and convert. And especially when you call that lead or you call that person who has submitted their information, they're going to remember who you were. Because odds are you're the only one in your market or your area that gave them that. So they're going to have a conversation with you about like, oh yeah, I used your tool online. It was so cool. And I was able to get some sort of price. Yeah, send somebody out. Let's finalize this deal. Let's get my final price. So that's what we've been seeing as well from, the success stories that we've talked to our contractors.
Yeah, I love that. That's like that first mover advantage. Like for anyone listening or watching right now, like, yeah, you want to be the first one in your market to offer this. So get on over to roofle.com and get set up. But on that note, Travis or Mike, I mean, let's walk through that. I know how it works because I went through your guys' demo a couple weeks ago and it all makes sense. But like, I'm a homeowner. I'm on the local roofing company's website, travis'sroofing.com. And I'm looking around, I'm getting a quote. Like, what is the process there? Am I getting a quote, submitting my info? Like, how does that all work?
Yeah, so the consumer comes to your website, no matter how they get there, whether you're pushing traffic there or they're organically or whatever, however they get there. But they click on the instant quote. They have to enter their address. Once the homeowner enters their address, it's going to bring up their address. It's going to bring up an outline around their address, and we allow them to edit the structure if they want to, which basically gives them the ability to make sure that it's as accurate as possible. We always recommend that you don't, because with our data sources, it's going to be the most accurate. But in some cases, maybe there was an addition that was done recently that wasn't in the data that we have. You have the ability to be able to edit. And we're seeing things like 9.5 minutes on average as far as these people are spending using this tool on the contractor's website, which comes back to keep it on your website. You want to keep the traffic there. But yeah, so once they are able to finalize the shape, everything looks good, they then hit see my price, and then they have to enter their information. So now the homeowner has to give you their information in order to see that price. And we do things like being able to send themselves emails of the product. So if they want to keep the product or keep it for record as far as what they saw, they have to give you good email information. So that's what helps from as far as them putting in bad or bogus information, is because we're giving them things that they want. So once they enter that, they see their price. Contractor can show up to 8 different products on the widget. So they can show, if they want, Owens Corning, GAF, wherever they want to, 8 different products, but they're very product specific. So if you do asphalt, tile, metal, whatever, flat, they're very product specific. It's not just general as far as like, oh, it's just asphalt, just tile, just metal. It's a very product specific. So you can push the products that you actually install. So from that point, the consumer can then again see their prices. They can then essentially shop online. If they like what they see, then they can submit the information back to themselves in an email, so they keep it for record. And then they get like a nice little closing statement at the end that basically says, "Hey, thanks for coming to our website. If you want to learn more, set up an appointment, fill out your information, give us a call." But they have the option to call in or submit their information, or you have the lead anyway, so you can call them right away. And hopefully you have processes in place within your company that you're calling them, maybe even while they're still on the site. And then you're having a conversation with this homeowner while they're still browsing on your website. So, and that's where we saw a lot of success when we were selling as Roofle. The consumer would go on there, submit their information, and we would call them a lot of times while they're still browsing. And we would actually walk them through the process sometimes while they're still browsing on the website. And it's just kind of a nice little customer, service, experience, for that customer to be on your website. So that's kind of really, where it's at right now is, again, being able to get that homeowner to, get that information that they want while you're getting information you want, which is basically, getting that lead information.
That's really cool. Cause I think a lot of like homeowners, we've all had that experience where you fill out a form on a local business website, a contractor, whatever, and you're not sure if you're going to get a call back at all, which is crazy, right? Like half the battle is just freaking picking up the phone and calling people. But yeah, if you can call and help them through that process, because they have a lot of questions. I like that. That's huge.
Another one that we're going to have to get over as an industry and as an expectation for homeowners in this buying process. We call it the bait and switch. And I was playing around with this a little bit with a gutter quote, and it said, get a quote in seconds. And I clicked on it. I put my information in, and it was nothing more than a phone call. Now, granted, it was a phone call within minutes, phone call saying, when can I set up an appointment for a sales guy to come out and measure your gutters? And I do need gutters, and I wasn't just trying to play with the system, but my response was, this isn't the buying experience that I'm looking for. And so that's part of what, as Roofle and bringing up RoofQuote Pro, we want to have a product that's going to meet the expectation of the online shopper. We're not just trying to set up, hey, we're going to give you a quote in seconds, and just to have schedule somebody to come out and within 48 or 72 hours send somebody out to waste your time again. This is real time, real quick. We're getting you where you want to go when you want to get there.
That's cool. Yeah, I can see how that just kills your trust in a company. It's like, well, I'm not getting a quote in seconds or even minutes or not even in days. It's going to take me a week to get a quote. So, what the heck?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the, some of the success stories. Obviously, you talked about Roofle itself, Travis, but some of the contractors that have been early adopters to Roofle or RoofQuote Pro rather. And, some of the things that they're seeing, it sounds like you guys are big on data. So I'm sure you have some good case studies and tidbits there. But yeah, what have you guys seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, some of the cool things we've seen, and that's something that we actually use as a line is always like, some of the most successful companies are the first ones to adopt disruptive technology, and that's what we always say, like, get in now, because if you're the only one in your market that's doing this, and you go out there and you're able to advertise this over all of your competition, well, I think that you're definitely going to be able to do some good things with it, but. We have some, pretty cool success stories. We got people who, we have a customer who's been with us now for right about a month. He created some pretty dynamic landing pages that he created that were really good. And he's at like 164 contacts that he's generated in a month. He said that he's getting about 70 a day. Now, he's pretty good at what he does. He built some pretty good landing pages. He's driving some good traffic there. There are some little pieces, behind there that, we see that he's doing that, is having really, really good success. But yeah, I mean, that's really what it's about. It's about them being able to create dynamic pages, push the traffic there, get the customers interested in what they want, and, give them what they want, and you're going to get conversions off of it. So another one is Florida. We're seeing some huge success in Florida. So after Hurricane Ian, a lot of these homeowners were underinsured, didn't have insurance, and now they're figuring out that, wow, I don't really have insurance to cover a lot of this. So this is really kind of turned into like a retail kind of environment, because really it's not insurance proceeds and it's not, insurance paying for it. They have to go out and get bids. Well, a lot of the contractors here are getting just inundated with just calls like crazy. So they're actually funneling most of their people through the RoofQuote Pro. And the reason is because a lot of these homeowners have no idea what a roof costs. So they're kind of pre-qualifying their customers in a way by getting them some sort of price. And then after they submit that, then they call them to set up an appointment and say, hey, you went through the RoofQuote Pro and you're able to see, what the price is. And is it something that you're looking at doing now? And either they're like, yeah, it looks good. Send somebody out. Let's get this thing finalized. Or it's like, no, that's, it was a little more than I expected. I got to be able to save for a couple months. So for them, it's saving a lot of time, energy, and money, because instead of sending somebody out to disappointment to where this customer is not ready yet because they thought this roof was going to cost $8,000, it's actually $16,000 because the prices have gone up so much. It's saving them, a lot of time with their sales reps as well. So there's a lot of different ways that we've been able to utilize it. We had a new customer actually just on board with us, and he didn't even have a website, but we work with affiliate partners, with building websites and things like that. So we were able to get him in touch with one of them and got him a website built. And he was with us, I believe he said it was like 3 days. And so he did a 3-day Facebook campaign, and it ran for 3 days. He spent $90 on this campaign. So he built a nice little ad on Facebook. And so he got 78 clicks on it, and he got 30 conversions out of it for $90. So pretty amazing. There's a lot of different, like I said, success stories that we've heard, but there's just a lot of different ways that you can utilize this technology for your company to be successful. It's just once you get it, it's just having a plan in place so that you can do the right things and you can actually, get the conversions that you need or want. And so another success story is mailers. People think that mailers is kind of a thing in the past. Well, one of our customers is kind of a bigger, storm chaser, door knocking type company. So they created mailers and door hangers, and they put a QR code on there that says, get your, quote within 30 seconds, or get your quote by the time you get back, from your mailbox to your front door, get your instant quote, and just killed it on that campaign. I think that they generated, I think it was something like 86, scans or conversions off of that. And they sold 9 deals in the first couple of days that they sent that out. So like for them, like that more than paid for this technology. I haven't followed up on recently to see how many he sold out of it total, but he shared with us very early on his success with that. So those things that we like to share with contractors as well, as far as the things that are working for everybody, and so that they can actually utilize the technology properly so that they can be successful. Because the last thing we want is for someone to get the technology, not use it properly, then not be successful with it, because there definitely are ways for them to, be successful.
Right. Okay. And when you say conversion, just for the audience, conversion means that's someone who put in their info to get a quote on the website or landing page, correct?
Correct. Lead, conversion, contact. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that means they got their name, their number, their email address, and their address.
All right, cool. Yeah. And Travis mentioned an important thing there. Like, you can't just have this tool on your website, or even if you don't have this tool, you can't have this amazing website and, just hope that people find it. Like, you've actively got to be driving people to it. That could be Google or Facebook or mailers or, knocking doors and leaving, door hangers, whatever it might be. But you've got to have a way to distribute that and get your page in front of people so that they can actually use that. Just setting expectations, because, I know a lot of people out there looking for like the magic thing, and it's like, oh, well, I have this thing on my website, it's not working. Well, you got to drive people there. That's obviously going to make it successful.
Yeah, we of course, some people do see success, but they're seeing 10 to 20,000, organic, hits on their website, a month. Some of the bigger companies out there. And so they can do all right with that because they're already getting all that much traffic. But if you're not already getting that, you're going to have to drive them there. But also where we've seen success is actually in door knocking itself. So while the door knocker's at the door, he's got a tablet, he's got the technology on there. He knocks on the door, talks to the homeowner about a price. He's able to get them an instant quote. He asks for their information, punches it in, shows them their instant quote right there at the door. Now he's got himself a lead contact, and he's able to show that customer right there at the door, what that roof is going to cost, rather than saying, okay, let me get back to you in a day or two or a week. He's able to get them some sort of price right then and there. And then obviously if they're interested, they move forward and get them that final quote and, get that contract side. But there's a lot of different, like I said, different ways that you can utilize the technology for sure.
That's cool. Yeah. That's immediate value right there at the door. And I know so many companies are, there's dozens of roofers knocking that same neighborhood. It's like, how do you stand out? What do you say? Right. So again, having that, being an early adopter and being maybe the only roofing contractor in that neighborhood that's offering this, like, that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like we said, be one of the first ones in, because we've seen the people obviously in their areas and their markets are the first ones in there, and they're advertising it and really pushing it. They're seeing a lot of success. So you can never get in too early and get this implemented within your business. And again, it's going to evolve. Like, this is not going to go away. Technology is not going away. The consumers being hungry for, wanting this is not going to go away. It's there. So, we always say, get in now, get it implemented. No better time than now. And, let's get it going.
Cool.
And it's not expensive to do so. It's getting easier and easier to be very specific on who you want to reach, when you want to reach them, how you want to reach them. And leads can actually get less and less expensive as technologies continue to be introduced. And we're watching, I've been on so many calls recently on new technologies that are being developed and being so specific that it can actually, your cost per leads can really get affordable sooner than later.
Yeah. And it's like, the more specific you get, and then the more value you're providing, the more differentiating, the lower your cost per lead. But like, if you're just, another roofer in Pittsburgh where there's 2,500 roofing contractors, and you have the same old website, you have the same stupid Facebook ads and the same boring Google ads, and you're wondering why your cost per lead is so high and you're wondering why your leads are so crappy, like, because you just look and sound and feel like every other roofer out there. So the more of these things, that you utilize, like, modern technology and processes and really appealing to homeowners the way that they want to do business, like that is going to drive down that cost per lead for sure. And, they're going to see you as, I would argue that it's going to increase your profit too, because they're going to see you as, hey, a trusted advisor, a little bit different, like not just another roofer, right? So when they're looking to work with you, because they see that differentiation, you're going to get price shopped less, right? You're going to make more profit. You're going to get better customers, better reviews, better referrals, and it just kind of snowballs into a more profitable business, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. And one of the things, as you're introducing more technology onto your website as well, you mentioned your price goes up. I think immediately a lot of contractors are afraid this is going to be more price suppression. But, Travis can speak to that, when they were doing Roofle, that they had to actually raise their price multiple times, because what they were doing in presenting all of this technology was creating an image in their mind, in the consumer's mind, that it should be at this price. And when it wasn't, they were actually losing jobs. Their close rate started dropping until they started raising their price. So again, it's like you say, the more creative you get, the more content you put out, the more value you're bringing, along with all the technology that you're bringing. There's no reason why that price should start getting suppressed. If anything, it ends up going up, and your close rates are going to reflect that.
And that's one of the biggest things that we get asked all the time, right? You guys are going to create something that's a race to the bottom, right? Everything is going to be all about price. And it's like, there's nothing we can do about price shoppers. If they're going to be price shoppers, then this is going to do nothing for that, because regardless of you going in the house or not, they're still going to say, I'm going to go with the lowest guy. And so with those people, we can't ever get rid of, and I think that if we can do a good job on our website to be able to show what the experience that we're going to get, we're going to want those people that are the middle shoppers. And we see a lot of those consumers that they go in and they say, I'm not going to go with the lowest, I'm not going to go with the highest, but I'm going to go with somebody in the middle. So again, if we can do a good job on our website showing them that what we're going to get and build value in the price that we're getting, none of our people have seen any problem with it, and we never saw any problem with it. And again, like Mike said, when we were the cheapest in some of our markets, we actually lost business because of it, because they said that, no, you were just too cheap. You were the cheapest, so I'm just not going to go with you. Even though you have all this great technology, all these great things, the price seems too good to be true. So they were actually losing business. We were actually losing business because our price actually was a little too cheap. So, yeah, we're not worried about the race to the bottom. Like I said, we can't get those people, to convert over to, being people that want to, shop on value. They're always going to be about price, and this is not going to change that.
Cool. Well, yeah. What else do you? A lot of good stuff so far. What else do you guys want to go over? Like, if we, wrap it up within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's a couple of things just in the experience that comes to the table. We're a little bit unique in that this is actually born out of a bunch of roofers. I've been in this space for over 30 years, and this is actually I got to know these guys as part of one of my master elites when I was working with them when I was in manufacturing. So this is truly one of those products that's created by a roofer, by a roofing company for roofers, and so you're going to see that reflected in how the product works and functions, and how it helps answer questions that I don't think most people know to answer. If you're just coming as a tech company and trying to create a widget that works and tries to do e-commerce, but you've never actually run through the production schedule or sold a roof, you're going to see a lot of difference between our products and anything that's going to be coming from a tech company. And what's one of the things that I've appreciated coming into this company and seeing how this actually works within the construct of the industry itself, and the experience that comes from Roofle and working with the customers that we have now.
Yeah, that's one of our slogans, I think. It's, built by roofers for roofers. I mean, and that's how this thing was built. Everyone that was on our team, has been in the roofing industry for quite a long time, but has that industry knowledge in all different areas, from marketing to technology to sales to whatever it may be. And we built this thing, really for roofers, to be able to use, keep it as simple as possible so that they can use it. And then also as far as what the consumers are looking for. So that's something that we pride ourselves on, as far as, we built this thing all around, like with their contractor or the roofer in mind, so they can be successful with it.
I love that. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because there are tech companies out there putting out products every day in every industry. And it's like, well, you don't want to be that roofing contractor that, the tech company is going to be learning on your time and on your dime. And it's clear that you guys, talking today and just, over the past few weeks, like, it's clear that you guys have thought of all these kind of like, maybe objections or hesitations or, things like that ahead of time. And you've already answered those questions with your product. So that's huge. On that note, I think I know the answer, but I just want to, ask this for the audience sake. Is there an ideal roofing contractor size that would, this would be best suited for, or is it really for like any size roofing company?
Yeah, I think it's for any size roofing company. And I think that's one thing that we do, pretty well on is actually educating the contractor if this is the right thing for them. And if it's not right for them, then, we don't want them to buy it. We want them to be successful. We want them to be able to utilize it properly. So that's something we do through kind of like the demo or education process. We kind of learn a lot about their business, what they do, what their size is, do they have marketing, how do they, and just all those different things to see, okay, is this a good fit? We can see you being successful in this, or is there things that you need to work on or things that you should adjust or change so you can be more successful. So, we work with companies anywhere from a one-man operation doing $1 million or less, 500,000, all the way up to very large companies doing, hundreds of millions of dollars and anywhere in between. So I think it's kind of, this fits for everybody. I can't say I want to limit it to anybody. It just really depends as far as in their business and how that they can utilize it. So if a company is a one-man operation with a small website, well, maybe he's not going to be able to utilize it on his website if he's not planning on driving traffic there, but maybe he knocks doors. Okay, well, if you knock doors, here's how you can use it. So I think it's for everybody. And I think that there's a way that they can utilize it no matter what size of the business is. It just depends as far as like, are they willing to take the time to implement it and actually put those processes in place within their business? And I think that anybody of any size can be successful.
I need to clip that and use it for our sales presentation, because that's pretty much our exact clientele as well. It's like we've got clients that are, startups. We've got clients that are, super large companies and everywhere in between. And it's really like the mindset more of like, okay, I understand that consumer buying behavior has shifted and it's going to continue to shift. And I want to make sure that I am positioning myself as, a trusted solution to how people are doing business. Right. And like, back to what you were talking about as far as, driving the price down and things like that. Like as a roofing contractor, don't be naive to think that your market is not already looking for, pricing online. Like we are, right? Just like, we're looking to look for the price of a car or a vehicle or a house or like whatever, a pool, like whatever it is, like we're doing that research. So, you want to be there. You want to be the one that shows up when your market's doing that research. Don't be naive to think that like, hey, I need to hide my prices until I get to the kitchen table. Like, I think that's old school thinking. So sounds like you guys have thought of it all. On that note, contractor wants to learn more about, how to, get involved with this, how to learn more, if it's the right fit for them. What's that process look like for you guys?
Yeah, they can go to roofquotepro.com. That is our website for this technology. So they can go there. They can learn a lot more about it as far as, how it works, see what the cost is as well. And then also they can book a demo there if they'd like. So it's roofquotepro.com is the website. And they can go there and book their demo. Then from there, they can set up a demo. We'll go through everything with them and, see obviously if it's a good fit for them. And then from there, once they do a demo, we do an onboard call. So the onboard call consists of like about an hour. We meet with our onboarding specialist. We go through all the different products, help you get set up, help you get installed on your website. So hopefully our goal is that by the time you get done with that one hour onboard call, it's up, it's running on your website. You don't have to look at it anymore. It's up, it's doing its thing, and it's working for you 24 hours a day. So we make it pretty seamless. We try to make it as easy as possible to get this thing up and running on your website. So yeah, visit roofquotepro.com and check us out.
Nice. I like that. The 24/7 salesperson that's just always out there working for you.
That's right.
Weekends, holidays, whatever.
Yep. This is the best. This is the best tool that won't complain about commissions. I promise you that.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, for anyone listening, watching, like I went through the demo with these guys a few weeks ago, and like it is really, it's cool. It's very cool. They've thought of everything. It's very robust. It's not some like, half-assed product. Like this is very robust and very professional. And I fully endorse it. So you guys are onto something big, and I'm honored to have had you on to talk about it and, spread the knowledge and educate more roofing contractors about this amazing technology. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us. That's great.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.